direction. Drop the clutch, pedal to the floor. Turn that giddy button to a lion's roar. Dream machine, racing queen, I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's blow this town, break the speed of sound. Tonight we all know Dream machine, racing queen,
We're back. We're back. Mic check 1 2. Looks good. Welcome everyone. Welcome back to 2023 Sim Race Africa. We are at round 1 of the simGP. That's our open wheeler series, our premier open wheeler series at Sim Race Africa. And I'm excited to announce that we've got a new car on the grid this year. It's the Formula Hybrid 2022, the latest and greatest from RSS, that's Race Sim Studio. And for the sharp-eyed among you who've been watching the intro video, and in the background currently, we have the Barcelona track, also known as Circuit de Catalunya. And yep, we are currently in the dying moments of overtime of first practice, and we're about to jump into a 15-minute qualifying session, and I'll be getting all the action with you in just a sec. Little bit of background and info to get through today. So let me just start off by saying the track layout as we have it today with the Formula Hybrids. Of course, you've got DRS, you've got boost, the DRS detection zones are there. A little bit of history about the track as well. It's quite a modern track in that it was built in 1991 and hosted the Spanish Grand Prix that very same year, which also coincided with the Olympic Games, and they had some of the cycling events and whatnot overlap some of the circuit. There's a lot of testing that happens on the circuit, for those who watch Formula 1 will know. So the drivers as well as mechanics obviously extremely familiar with it, which also leads to a lot of criticism about the track. But certainly it was considered a well-rounded, all-rounded track, and is thus quite good for testing. A little bit about the layout briefly. You can see the turn numbers on track. We can take you through it quickly. Essentially turn 1, after the end of a very long main straight, is going to probably be the main overtaking point tonight at Catalunya. It's a braking zone also at the end of a long DRS straight. The inside and outside are equally difficult for overtaking. Drivers who can hold the line around the outside of turn 1 can get the inside line for turn 2. The corners of themselves, in looking at combination, make up a medium speed chicane, so you can brake rather late for turn 1, also known as elf corner, shift down gear 2, and turn 2 is almost then full throttle as you try and gain as much exit speed as possible. Then the sweeping right-hander turn 3 Renault is a long flat out right-hander, G-force of about 4, leading to a short little turn before turn 4, the Repsol curve, another right-hander, which is similar to Monza's Curva Parabolica. So you're going to be braking late, taking an early apex in third gear, carrying great speed out of the exit. Turn 5 comes immediately after. It's a slow left-hander, and is taken in second gear, which drops rapidly downhill towards the left kink of turn 6, which is basically ignored by Formula 1 cars. Not really a turn. Turn 7 and 8, they're medium speed uphill, left-right chicane, braking, shifting down, not running too wide. Turn 8 has a bit of a large curb on its apex, which can damage your suspension if you're not careful. Turn 9, that's Campsa corner. It's a very fast 6-gear right-hander. Incredibly difficult by being completely blind. You can't actually see the apex on approach. So it's quite steep uphill, but then the exit's downhill, so it's quite easy to run wide onto the AstroTurf. Then we're looking at the long back straight leading all the way into turn 10. Second gear left corners, and then 11 and 12 come up quite quickly, a low kink before a long, slow third gear right. That next section thereafter has actually been redesigned lately by the famous Herman Tilke. Some love him, some hate him. But the idea was to lower speeds onto the pit straight. But yeah, we've got some turn 13, tight third gear right-hander, the chicane of 14 and 15, which is there, taken in second. You're going to need good traction here, just to make sure you get good speed and momentum down the pit straight. So turn 16, the final corner, flat out right-hander, and that'll take you across the start-finish line. And that is a lap in a Formula 1 car at Circuit de Barcelona or Circuit de Catalunya. Looking at the weather forecast for today, it's pretty perfect conditions actually. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's about 12 to 14 degrees, so it's nice and cool. It's not too hot, the tires are not going to be suffering. Road temperature 17 to 19 degrees. We'll have a quick look at what that actually is reflecting on track in a minute. Track condition itself, the grip is starting at optimum, 100%. So yeah, you're not going to get any better than that. Wind is a moderate breeze, 12 to 14 k's an hour from the northwest. And of course, 0 rain whatsoever. Championship standing, so this is round 1, so obviously we're not going to be getting into that, but looking at your previous championship winner, Emile de Villiers, I can see in the background here is currently leading the qualifying with a 1:17.9. I'm going to head back onto track and whip out some TV cameras for you very shortly. And there we see Emile de Villiers heading out of the pit lane as we speak, currently banking a 1:17.1817. I can tell you a little bit of interesting information. What do you think the lap record is here at Circuit de Catalunya, in real life, I mean? I can tell you now that Max Verstappen has the quickest lap in his Formula 1 car, clocked in not last year but the year before, 2021, with a 1:18.149. So we can already see the top 3 drivers here. Emile de Villiers, cornerbred, and I think this is a new name on the grid, M. Matthews, which I'll just look up very briefly. Apologies for not knowing it off by heart yet. We've got quite a few new drivers on the grid tonight, which is always great to see. I think it's a M. Matthews. Is Mikhail Matthews for NIFA Racing. But great to see him immediately up on the pace in P3 provisional at this present time. But yeah, certainly all of these drivers currently going faster than Max Verstappen as it stands. Obviously there's DRS, you can see the wing wide open from Mikhail at the moment. The drivers obviously having the hybrid battery system, energy recovery curves, etc. available to them to use during the race. We've got a couple of custom liveries on track as well. Here we see Marius Skuman for SimRace Extreme returning to the grid this season. He wasn't on track last season with a bit of a hiatus, but good to see him back on track with a couple of other SimRace Extreme drivers. I think we have Rob van der Heever and Gerard Pretorius as well, rounding out that SimRace Extreme team. So good luck to them on the grid. We have Lawrence Sterner currently in the pits for Odin Racing. We'll have a look at him a little bit later. We have Corne Breed for Flying Gypsies currently on stream there, sporting their very nice red and black new livery. Looking pretty good there. And of course, both Jeremy and Emile de Villiers out on track there as well in their de Villiers Motorsport livery. Some slight tweaks to the overall livery design this season. Another great livery done by Jonathan from Yellow Design Co. And we have about 7-8 minutes left of qualifying, so watch as these cars go around. And just looking at Mohamed Dokrat, who has put himself up into P4 at the moment, the 1:18.6. Quick shout out to everyone else on chat as well. How's it, Jan van der Merwe, JD, Mad Dog, Southlight Media? How's it going, guys? Start off in chat. Happy to answer any questions. Starting with Mad Dog asking, this is AC? This is indeed AC, or also known as a Seta Corsa. The old girl certainly still has some life in her, especially with these mods from the community, essentially keeping the sim title alive. And with the likes of Content Manager, Custom Shaders Patch, you can of course make it look very pretty indeed. So it certainly has lots of life left in it. I'm going to quickly bounce around some of the other drivers that we see on track. We see John Stewart out here for Flying Gypsies Hades making his way around. Gideon Bernardi for Bernardi Alphabet Racing is here. Bjorn Buchner having a little wiggle in his sort of Haas looking livery, I must say. Very nice. And Ryan de Azevedo as well, reserve driver for Flying Gypsies, pulling in. So we have a couple of drivers that are unable to make tonight just due to load shedding, but we had a couple of reserves able to step in. So still looks like a pretty decent grid tonight. Looks like 18 drivers on track, excluding myself on the scoreboard there, number 19 in the BMW pace car, which is not really going to be a pace car tonight. It's more just a camera commentator's car. And of course we have a standing start grid for the race tonight. Rob van der Heever out there, we've said hello to already. Marius Skuman out there, still looking to improve upon his lap time. Mark Wallenbach out there, just jumped up to P9. I have Gas Cohen out there for Flying Gypsies as well, currently in P10. I'm sure also looking to improve as his wing snaps open. And we have Jeremy de Villiers, we've said hi. Jude Stewart out there for Flying Gypsies as well. They're out in force tonight. And Raymond Duggan, yet another Flying Gypsy, just pulling out of the pits. Lawrence Sterno here, we see him just coming down the main straight. It actually looks like he's pulled off to a stop, so he's likely going to be going back to the pits. And Mikhail Matthews, I do like this livery. Nice sort of Aston Martin, British Racing green. And making our way up to Corne Brett. And Emile de Villiers still currently holding top spot with 5 minutes left to go in this session. Young Maverick saying the new hybrids sound awesome. I absolutely agree. Can't get a better sounding Formula 1 car on track in AC as it stands today. While you're racing around, you will see in the bottom right hand side of your screen, you've got a new logo up on stream tonight called Starting Chance. And what that's all about tonight is to do with our charity focus. So as many of you know, every season we select a charity that we like to support and encourage all drivers to donate through us directly to the charity and thus raise sort of consolidated funds towards specific programs. For the charity we've selected this season called Starting Chance, it's a non-profit organization that specializes in early childhood development and the transformation of shack schools in townships. So mainly operating out of or functioning, contributing to Cape Town and Umfaleni. And their mission statement, essentially by giving our township children, parents and teachers a starting chance on their educational journey, will help to make a better future for all of South Africa. Starting Chance offers a model that addresses the multiple needs of an ECD centre, providing practical skills, transfer training and development program for teachers, a shack to chic makeover of the dilapidated physical structures, opportunities for teachers to have access to a computer training and a full-time field worker to mentor, support and role model excellence to our Starting Chance schools. So you can all read more about that on our website. You can also go to startingchance.org.za, have a look at their social media pages, and if you want to help us donate to this cause, just jump onto our Discord server and reach out to one of the admins and we'll help you find their bank details and give the reference of SimRace Africa, and that way we can track how much we've collectively raised for them. So since the January signups have started this month, we have raised about 10,656 Rand, or say about, that's pretty much exactly. A bit of a random number because we had a few overseas drivers with us donate, and obviously with the currency conversion things start getting interesting. But yeah, long story short, almost 11,000 Rand raised for Starting Chance so far, which is certainly great and something really to feel proud of for everyone racing here tonight. There's about 2 minutes left. Emile de Villiers still holding that top spot. Corne Breed's sitting in the pits right now. So he's not heading out. He's going to have not much time left to get out there if he wants to put in another flying lap and be able to bank it. Mikhail Matthews stepped up to P3. Still looks like he's heading a little bit of traffic right now. He's pulled off actually and aborted that lap. Jeremy de Villiers up in P4 at the moment. Looking to improve, but flicking on and all around his delta. Oh, he's had a big lock up there at turn 10, and I think that's lost any of the advantage he may have enjoyed up to this point. I'm going to bounce around and see if I can see anyone else up on their delta. Lawrence Sterner for Odin Racing, brown and yellow livery, brown and gold. Just out on his outlap by the looks of it again at this stage. Gerard Pretorius sort of parked at the exit of the pit lanes, now gets going. It's going to be cutting it extremely fine. In fact, I think, yeah, he's realized he may not have enough time to do an outlap and a flying lap, so he's no doubt going to abort that. Maybe just get a little bit of practice if he's put on his race trim setup. And the dying moments, there's a minute left. I'm going to quickly go to an ad break. and we'll be back with you in a little bit. So that awesome car that you just saw on screen now is the new Porsche 992 GT3 Cup car. And the reason we're showing that, of course, is that we're racing them here at Sim Race Africa. We have a series we've started up called the Sim Cup, which will be racing those Porsche Cup cars. So that is held on a Assetto Corsa Competizione as a single one-make series. So if you're interested in getting in on that action, find our website, join our Discord, and follow the prompts to sign up. We're in overtime. I see Emile de Villiers is still holding into his top spot, P1. Everyone else is essentially finished. Emile de Villiers moves to a 116.965, so the only driver to dip into the 116s. That's pretty incredible right now. We're going to cut to a quick ad break while drivers have 30 seconds, essentially, to set up all their final mechanical setups of the car. Be right back. Well, we are back. The grid is loading up. As you can see in the foreground, that's a nice looking grid all lined up, ready to go, 18 cars. You can see in the top middle here we have a 45-second countdown still, as well as the reminder to drivers about the minimum pit stop requirements, which essentially is to do a one pit stop is required within the pit window. The pit window, we've got an hour race ahead of us. The pit window is going to open within 10 minutes and then remain open for another 40 minutes and close 10 minutes before the end of the race, essentially. And all you got to do is fill in 1 liter of fuel to pass that. The lights are coming on. We've got 6 lights about to start. Engines are revving up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lights are off, we're going. Looks like Emile's off to a good start. There's a bit of traffic in the back. Let's just see what we can get leading up to the first corner. Emile de Villiers is spurred ahead. I'm looking at a little bit of the back. Mikhail Matthews in the green livery has a very good clean start to maintain P3. Looks like the top 4 or 5 drivers are pretty much maintaining the same. Lawrence Stern has had a very good start, actually going around the outside of Jude Stewart by the looks of it. Looks like a relatively clean getaway. Some of the Sim Race Extremes, one of the orange cars there at the back, just getting a little wide and a wheel onto the dirt there and slip back into position. But otherwise, a very clean start by the field. Looks pretty good. Well done to all. So we get settled in now for some racing. Emile de Villiers has a big lockup, and there's a touch. I think that was corner Breed. That's had a coming together, and somehow it looks like he's managed to get back on track relatively safely. I'm going to flick onto, not that, let's go onto there, the T-cam, essentially looking forward from his perspective, a little bit sideways there, just trying to maintain traction through the final corner onto the main straight. We go. Gonna get rid of that virtual mirror just to give a little bit more perspective up into the long flying straight into T1. There's some heavy braking. Remember what I said about this turn 1-2 complex, and certainly looks to have made a good recovery on his way out through the rest of the circuit for now. Jeremy de Villiers in P7 at the moment. Looks like he's running just behind Jude Stewart of the Flying Gypsies. Going for the Marav commenting, nice cool temps for today's race. I agree, the track temperature currently 17 degrees, ambient is 12, wind also 12 kilometers, not much to write home about. A little bit of a wiggle there by Jeremy de Villiers. It looks like he has Mark Hollenbach behind him for company. Let's see if I can grab a rear view. There we go. Oh, close underbraking there. Almost a collision as Mark has to back out of it, and I think loses some momentum as a result. Fortunately, no collision. You can see the pack tightly formed up here on the track map. I've got Jude Stewart, no, was it John Stewart falling down the pack? I think it's John Stewart who's had some sort of moment in falling down the order there. And just recovering ahead of Rob van der Heever in the orange SimRace Extreme car. Gascoigne, meanwhile, looks like, oh, he's having a bit of an off, and he goes around. Can he keep it free of any other car collisions as he looks to rejoin safely and also try and keep it out of the wall? And slipping down the order there. And recovers safely. Unfortunately, we've just seen our first DNF. John Stewart, unfortunately, has just disconnected. So we'll be interested to see from him what happened there. As I flick back to Emile de Villiers, there's been a mistake. Mikhail Matthews takes the lead, opens his rear wing. And I don't think there was any contact in void there. I think Emile may have just lost it. I'm not quite sure what happened there. As we see Marius Skuman as well making his way up the order, and Raymond Duggan falling behind. And SimRace Extreme, Rob van der Heever slamming past Rob van der Heever. I think there's some contact that's been made there on the Flying Gypsies car. I think that is gas. Just coming around the tight chicanes now. There's so much action. We're going to go on board here with Marius Skuman. Just looking at the final chicanes. Minding those sausage curves could be quite clearly unsettling the car. And opening up the throttle, full throttle now to get onto the main straight. Does he open his rear wing? Of course he does. And yeah, Emile de Villiers is going to need to recover from that mistake. And is already 2.9 seconds behind Kyle Matthews. New face on the grid for SimRace Africa, currently leading in pole position. Or I think it's Nifa Racing. I'll check up on his team name very briefly. Yeah, it's Mikhail Matthews and Ihsan Levy, who I believe couldn't make it today. I don't see him on track for Nifa Racing. And we're going to have a quick look at Lawrence Sterner, who's 0.5 seconds behind Mohamed Dokrat. And the Odin Racing livery here. Coming around New Holland Bend, just the final corner essentially, into the main straight. Lawrence Sterner trying to open up that corner as far as possible, as far as legally possible, just to get some good straight line through turn 2, 3. tightens up through Repsol corner. There's a sharp left-hander on the brakes into see it. We've got Gas Cohen just getting past Marius Skuma at this stage for the Flying Gypsies. And it looks like a bit of a Flying Gypsies versus Simrex extreme battle on track here. Oh, almost some contact there. That's Cohen again getting very squiggly. And Mikhail Matthews has just put in the fastest lap of the race so far, 119.283. Corne Bridge just putting in his personal best time. He has the Tower Flicks purple on each driver. You can see Raymond Duggan just putting in his best time. Got a Jude Stewart just overtaking Rob van der Heever. I think that's at the end of the pit straight into T1. Looks like there was a nice clean move there from Jude. Bit of a lock-up there by Jude, just a slight puff of smoke. Too serious. And getting over his way. I'm going to quickly have a look on board Gas Cohen. He's just behind teammate Jude Stewart and just in front of Rob van der Heever. And in fact, Marius Skuma now just behind him. He's just overtaken the Simrace Extreme guys in the back. Swapping places. To the places, swapping again. Jude Stewart getting past Ryan de Azevedo for the Flying Gypsies. I don't believe there are any team orders here. This is all racing as full as they can. Look at the trio of them coming through there. Jude Stewart, Ryan de Azevedo and Gas Cohen fighting against each other. No team orders here, but you certainly don't want to collide with a teammate essentially. Ihsan Levy shouting out for his teammates Mikhail Matthews in chat. Ihsan, sorry to miss you tonight. Seeing we've got load shedding or something going on, but good to see you cheering on your teammate here as he comes through the chicane, through the final corner onto the main straight for the start of another lap. And he's enjoying a now massive 7.28 lead, second gap over Emile de Villiers. Got that rear wing wide open as he opens up the corner to T12 and flicks his way through. Got Mark Hollenbach, who's just put in a personal best lap time. The Scar Sports livery. So running very nicely in P6 at the moment. Cohen meanwhile is closing up on his other teammate Jude Stewart for Flying Gypsies. Oh, running a bit wide there through this part of the circuit. Renault corner. Repsol now. We'll go on board with him and see if he can close the gap to Jude Stewart and put some pressure on. I'm going to flick to Corne Bridge. We've got a 0.2 second gap here behind Mark Hollenbach. See what can these drivers do. We'll go onto the rear wing of Mark Hollenbach, looking back onto Corne Bridge. Morris Div1 just getting past Ryder Azevedo as well. There's so much action. I'm trying to flick to the right stuff. And Raymond Duggan, it looks like, is currently off track somewhere being reported. It's back on now. Corner Bread has managed to get past Mark Hollenbach. As we speak, that looked like a pretty clean move. No incidents whatsoever. Ticking through on the leaderboard. Gascoigne is in the pits. That is a very early pit stop by Gascoigne. I'm hopefully not any sort of incident control. He is rolling again. The pit window is open, so this could be a scheduled stop. It's a very early stop for him, so I'm expecting him to be able to run long now on whatever tire compound he has selected. Look like he's gone out on the C2 tire. Yeah, much of the field either running C2 or C3. You've got a couple of C4 and C5 compounds right now. I'm not entirely sure offhand what those relate to. In terms of stops, obviously we can see a Gascoigne has done one stop. Dennis Camero, P17, has done one stop as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on those. And as we see, he's just obviously managed to gain an ultimate position on Rob van der Heever. Head back to the intervals on the time. We see Gerard Pretorius managing to get past Bjorn Buchner. And Bjorn running a little wide there. Leading up to turn 10. And let's have a look at what's happening up further of the field. Jeremy de Villiers in P5 for de Villiers Motorsports Racing is currently a second in front of Corner Bread and a second behind Mohamed Dokrat, so I'm sure he's trying to put on the pace. And make sure he can catch up to top 4 if he wants to start challenging for podium. Corner Bread now will go on board with him as he heads down the main straight. He's chasing down Jeremy de Villiers just ahead of him there. There's a big lockup from Jeremy de Villiers up front. Will that allow Corner Bread to make up some ground? Certainly just going to be wearing away at Jeremy's tyres regardless. Wing snaps open there. The little back straight. Heading into turn 10. There's quite a bit of elevation change. Oh, there's a massive wiggle by Corner Bread there. He manages to save that snap. Very well done there on saving that. But that's going to relieve some of the pressure somewhat for Jeremy ahead. Oh, there's a spin. There's a spin. I think it's Mark Hollenbach. He's doing a donut. He's managed to recover. And now that's put him in. I think Mohamed Dokrat actually overtook him at that as that was happening. So just losing out on the one place there. A little 360, I'm sure, is going to have cooked his tires to a certain temperature. But he did very well there to actually put the car facing the right direction. Made sure it stayed out of danger as well. Good with the timing. And let's see, hopefully he can keep it stable on track now after doing that little donut. He hasn't lost any grip. A little bit of a lockup through sad corner. But for the most part seems to be under control for now. running slightly wide there, and then the wing snaps open. Trying to make up some ground on the back straight. Doesn't last very long. Of course, we have to slam on anchors for that turn 10. Sorry, Ruben Kruger just correcting me. It was actually Mohammed Dokrat that spun. He was 4th, so yeah, sorry. There were a couple of cars that got past him now. Something's happened here. Mark Hollenbach is off and in the barriers. And it looks like he may have tangled with, is it Jude Stewart? This two gets going again. And yeah, something happened there. Unfortunately, caught just off stream. So yeah, Mohammed Dokrat, sorry, doing the spin. No wonder Mark Hollenbach looked nice and stable. But for the time being, Mohammed Dokrat keeping it clean as well. Following that little spin. Bit difficult when they're both running the same livery by the looks of it to catch from afar. And here we have a little side-by-side. Having a look further down, Morris Skimmer now, Sim Race Extreme, currently running in P9. They're on the C3 compound. Coming through the background there, you can see Ryan de Azevedo's red and black Flying Gypsies car just coming around those exit chicanes, so quite a bit of healthy space now. Him in the foreground. Conor Breed, meanwhile, has caught up to Jeremy de Villiers with a 0.4 second gap. We'll have a look at this battle for a while. Keep a close eye on Raymond Duggan further down the track, P11, currently half a second next to his closest rival. Let's see, Carrot Pretorius has opted to take his pit stop now. He's peeled into the pits. Pit window still open for a good half an hour more. Raymond Duggan has indeed just got past Ryan de Azevedo, that gap that was closing all the time. And as we speak as well, it looks like Rob van der Heever has got past Gerard Pretorius, teammates. Jeremy de Villiers, 0.2. Now behind Corner Bread, who just passed him. There's a big lock up there by Jeremy de Villiers. Manages to keep it in check. And it looks like quite a bit of traffic now coming up. And I think there's some blue flags being waved here. That could be Dennis Cometa, I think. Just making sure he doesn't get in the way of the cars coming through. Johan Buchner's had an off somewhere. Manages to right the car and stay out of trouble of the Sim Race Extreme car coming past. I think that was, yeah, Carrot Pretorius. But Dennis Cometa in the Blue Lightning livery GP car. Just doing well to stay out of the way of the leaders coming through under blue flag conditions. Jude Stewart just got past Mark Hollenbach, the P7. And I do think it looks like Mark was thinking about coming to the pits. Did that indeed happen? I think it is indeed happening. There he is, coming into the pits, and that's what that is for. Morris Skuman also opts to come into the pits. as we see them parking the cars almost simultaneously. You can see a good helicopter view here. Who will have the fastest stop? They both get going at almost the same time, but look at that speed difference as Marius launches out of the pits and hits the limiter, and then they both peel away at the same time. So a relatively fast stop there for both cars as they manage to get going again. And we'll see the pile of pressure now that perhaps Marius Kimmer can put onto Mark Hollenbach. Okay, Mikhail Matthews has dived into the pits and left the pits. Just came up on the timing tower. And this is an interesting one because he's going to be putting himself out into a bit of traffic here. Albeit traffic that is racing for positions. So you obviously have... Ooh, he's got Jeremy de Villiers on his tail. In front of him. Okay, there's about almost a second gap to Corne Bread in front. But that almost looked like he was putting himself in a lot of traffic. But seems to have worked out in the end. And just getting around a back marker here. One of the SimRace Extreme cars doing well to stay out of any sort of battle. No defending of the corners. Corne Breed, meanwhile, is all the way up Lawrence Sterner's trumpet here. Flying Gypsies versus Odin Racing. Meanwhile, Gerard Pretorius further down has just got past teammate again, Rob van der Heever, but we'll stay on this battle now. Corne versus Lawrence, and see if any sort of pressure can be put on. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle from Lawrence Stern in front, if you just caught that on camera. We'll see now. What is the pressure? Is it going to be a move? He's got a massive overlap. This should be super easy in the bag. Corne slips in front, takes the racing line again. Lawrence dives to the... Oh, he has a little bit of a look, maybe just trying to unsettle Corne. Come through T1, but that move is ultimately done and dusted with so much overlap. DRS, and I'm pretty sure there was enough boost button being used there as well, just to cement the pass. And now, of course, Corne needs to make sure the same doesn't happen to Lawrence, but it does meanwhile look like Lawrence behind is having Mikhail Matthews, previous race leader, on his tail, and another little bit of a wiggle from Lawrence Sterner. Struggling with grip out there. I wonder if the tires are reaching end of life. And I think Lawrence Sterner is in trouble here. And Lawrence, obviously, I don't think he's pit yet at all. Meanwhile, Mikhail Matthews will be on some fresher tires. So this may just be a matter of time before a pass is made. We'll stay with the battle from now on to see how it develops. Neil de Villiers, meanwhile, in the pits, just while he's dropping down the order in the tower. Is Mikhail Matthews in the tow enough? We've got a back marker traffic coming out of the pits. That may have prevented him from looking at any sort of move up the inside, because he would have put his car in danger of that other car exiting the pits. But certainly looking extremely close here. There's a bit of an overlap, and he has a little look at his... I don't know if there was contact there, but... There must have been. I think Lawrence Sterner goes off, and so does Mikhail Matthews. We have to see who's recovering in front, and looks like Lawrence is recovering in front there. And under pressure here from one of the SimRace Extreme cars. And I think that's just a back marker in the background. It looks like Mohammed Dokrat in the white car stuck behind that orange SimRace Extreme car as well for now. Perhaps eliminating some of the threats on Mikhail Matthews for the time being. Lucky timing. But, there we go in the background. We see a little bit of a contact there, and there's some lockups as they recover and keep it pointing in the right direction. Good job. Mikhail Matthews, meanwhile, continuing on just behind Lawrence Sterner. Now looking to reform his attacking position. Don't think he's close enough here to be enjoying a good enough tow to be making any sort of move up the inside of T1. We have a SimRace Extreme car just coming through there. It was a back marker pass, nothing to ride home about. Mikhail Matthews running very wide there in the approach to T1. And Lawrence running very wide there, and almost comes together as he tries to take that corner, and Mikhail Matthews slips through after the door was opened. There by Lawrence Sterner, and Mikhail Matthews is through. Back up to P3. And on his merry way, I'm going to quickly look down at... Oh, he spun! It looked like all on his own. Oh, very near, and he gets going again in the right direction, and that's lost out all the hard work done, not only to Lawrence, but he's dropped a few positions now. Emile de Villiers getting past as well. No, that's an unfortunate mistake there after just making an excellent pass on Lawrence Sterner, just overcooking it. Before I flick the gas cone, oof, making his way through some backmarker traffic as well as teammate Randa Azevedo right behind him. We'll stay with this battle for now. Ooh, Randa Azevedo running super wide, almost taking a bollard with him. And Jeremy de Villiers, meanwhile, pulling into the pits to take his pit stop. And Jeremy de Villiers, for some reason, okay, he's falling down because he was also just exiting the pits. Mikhail Matthews past Emile de Villiers. That was that just exiting pits as well. There's a lot of traffic going on. It's difficult to know what's a back mark and what's not. Seems to be a distinct lack of stewards at this track waving blue flags, so it's hard to see. There's a lonesome little steward underneath the bridge there on the left. And Marius Skuman in the pits now taking his pit stop. And when the dust is settled, I'm going to quickly have a look at the tower in terms of who has done their pit stops. Okay, so the top three, Corne Brett, Lawrence Sterner, and Mohamed Dokrat, have not yet taken their stop. The next two have. Mikhail Matthews and Emile de Villiers have done their stops. So we'll keep an eye on that. While we're here on the tower, just flicking around the data, I'm going to have a look at the progress. So Corne Brett started P2, currently enjoying P1, needs to take his pit stop, of course. Lawrence Sterner, what a great gains off the start. They're up into, or up 5 positions rather, into P2. Mohamed Dokrat up 1 position. I'll flick back to the gaps and the intervals, sorry, just so we can try and spot those battles on track for you. Mark Hollenbach just getting past Ryan Azevedo at the moment. Lubick in the chat of YouTube just asking, I wonder what type of gear these guys have. Like expensive direct drive systems with racing chairs, or just guys with Logitech Thrustmaster wheels on their desks. I can tell you with confidence that it's a mixture of both. A lot of people running all sorts of gear from the entry levels. And what I would deal like oh, let's flick to Lawrence Sterner quickly. He's had a bit of a spin moment, I think. And that looks like on the entry to the pits, so he may be now forced to just take his pit stop at the same time. But yeah, I know many guys that are racing just on your Logitech G29s, that sort of thing, G920s, the Thrustmaster equivalents, T150s, and so on. And there we go, Ihsan just mentioning for Mikhail, he's running a Logitech Force GT desk mounted. I used to have a Logitech Driving Force GT, the DFGT, very, very popular model, nice price point. And yeah, flipping, doing very well for himself, considering what he has. But then again, I don't believe that, you don't have to have the fanciest gear to do well at all. It could potentially help with consistency, but, you know, buying top-end gear, it's not really pay as to win. You're not going to be making magic seconds up on the grid for yourselves. But yeah, certainly there are guys enjoying direct drive wheels, and I've got dedicated rigs and so on, and there's a lot of guys that have DIY rigs as well. So yeah, anything is possible across a range of price points. Got Francois Bernardi popping into the chat, shouting for Gideon Bernardi, for Bernardi Alphabet Racing. His lovely red and white livery almost looks like a bit of a Ferrari livery. Very nice indeed. Currently enjoying P16 at the moment. The mining zone manners, driving around, staying out of trouble. The current closest battles on track, I've seen 3 of them developing. Emile de Villiers, who's about 0.7 behind Mikhail Matthews, looking to put that pressure on. I've got Gas Cohen a little bit further down, about a second behind Lawrence Sterner. And then a little bit further down the field, Marius Skuman. Just about a second and a half behind Tine Karakotoris for now. Firing his feet and way around that final chicane, New Holland corner now and onto the main straight. Also, Panardi saying Gideon's a massive Ferrari fan, so am I. It's my favorite. Kyle Shepard in the chat. Is there a Discord channel for this series? I use iRacing for Formula Racing, but an SA series sounds amazing. Would switch to AC for this. Any info appreciated? Yes, there is. simracesa.ca.za. There should be some links in the video description below, hopefully. Otherwise, just Google SimRace South Africa. The links will be on our YouTube channel as well. And find our website, find our Discord channels, all the links should be there. Yeah, it'd be good to have you. And yeah, we like to keep an open wheeler series in the community going. And for this season, oh, massive wiggle there by Emile de Villiers. For this season, we've selected the RSS Formula Hybrid 2022. Flicking to Lawrence Sterner, who's about 0.1. Oh, he's just gone off again, unfortunately. Having the bestest of times out there, Lawrence Sterner. Saw a gap developing, which is why I flicked onto him, and I believe that gap developing may have been his spin in action. And under pressure now by Mark Hollenbach just behind. See him coming through the final corner now. Flat out, New Holland. The wing will snap open as soon as he's on the straight. Could be now. Raymond Duggan just slipping into the pits behind. Then snap shut and he comes through T1 as he tries to hunt down Jude Stewart, his next target, just ahead. And there's a backmarker traffic just nicely getting out of the way there. It hasn't impacted this battle whatsoever. Oh, Lawrence. Oh, that was a bit ambitious, but he manages to keep it pointing in the right direction. But now he's going to be under all sorts of pressure. Will he? That backmarker may have helped the situation. But Lawrence certainly sliding around. Emile de Villiers, meanwhile, putting in the fastest lap of the race, 119.27. And just under quarter of an hour left of the pit window. And for anyone who has not yet pitted, Kyle Matthews currently in P1 has. I'm going to quickly flick over to the pit stops. It looks like actually the whole of the top 9 have. Ryan Asvedio in P10 has yet to stop. And otherwise, everyone else has made their required stops. On board here, the closest battle on track, Lawrence Durner for Odin Racing coming up behind Jude Stewart for Flying Gypsies. In fact, what is going on there? That has happened right now as we speak. Jude getting all sorts of sideways, keeps it out of the wall. Miraculously, that must have been ever so close. And loses out a couple positions there, Mark Hollenbach slipping by. I'm wondering if those tires are a little bit cooked on Jude's car. To be keeping it under control, Jude is for now, following that little incident, off-track excursion. Emile de Villiers, meanwhile, 0.09 seconds behind Mikhail Matthews. This is for battle for the lead of the race. Cornet Breed, meanwhile, puts in his personal best of 119.551. Emile de Villiers is the defending champion for simGP series after finishing on the podium. P1 spots, 2022.2 series, end of last year, and I'm sure he's obviously wants P1, but I'm sure he's also delighted to see some great new competition on the field in the form of Mikhail Matthews. He's currently leading this race on debut for SimRace South Africa. Oh, and there's a big lockup behind from Emile de Villiers. But that gap is pretty constant right now at about 0.7 seconds behind. That wing will snap open as they come down the main straight. Great to see after about 40 minutes now, the race down, 20 minutes to go. These two are still practically neck and neck. Matthews and Emile de Villiers. Both drivers having made some minor mistakes along the way, but ultimately still in the throes of a good battle. Mark Hollenbach, meanwhile, taking his pit stop as we see Emile de Villiers close up under braking. Just biting quite a bit of curb there, Emil de Villiers in the background, but seems to be okay. We flick to Lawrence Stoner very briefly. That gap is being recorded as almost half a second behind Gasco now, so there's some good pressure being put on by this mid-pack battle here for P6. I'm going to hop on board Lawrence Stoner. Just Gas running defensive, trying to break the toe. And we'll have to see what he can do leading into T1. I think he's far enough ahead to not be in trouble with any sort of move right now. But Lawrence is going to be in the toe throughout these sections. Will he struggle for grip? And there's a back marker coming up here. I think it'll stay off the racing line. Well off the racing line. Thanks, Gideon. I think that was you. Not wanting to get caught up in this battle here. P7. We're just having a look at what is this gap between Emil and Mikhail doing as they come through T1 yet again. It's come ever so slightly down. 0.7 it was last lap. Now it's 0.5. So yeah, between that and Lawrence Stern, we'll keep an eye on this battle. Oh, ever so close again to Gascoigne. Just looking over the rear wing back onto Lawrence Stern for Odin Racing in the brown and golds. Carpetoris getting past Ryan de Azevedo here for P12. Looked like it may have just been a little wiggle or a mistake potentially from Ryan de Azevedo. I see Dennis is reported as being off track here and just climbing back on safely. Going down the main straight here again. This is Emil and Mikhail doing their thing. Reaching 318.19 before slamming on anchors for T1. Almost 320 kilometers an hour there. And still that gap is pretty consistent at between 0.6 and 0.7 seconds. Lawrence Stern, meanwhile, still 0.4 behind Gascoigne yet for P6, desperately trying to fight for it. Lawrence looking very racy out there today. Oh, almost side by side. Is that, I think that's a back marker actually. Timing board did not flick on. And almost looks diving into the pits there. Is one of the Flying Gypsies cars. It should come up on the tower very shortly. Lawrence Stern looking at the inside lane. Oh, inside line. It was Ryan de Azevedo peeling into the pits. And there was a good half chance there for Lawrence Stern as he had a good look up the inside of Gascoigne and I think decided against any sort of dive. Pit window is open for another 5 minutes. I do believe all the drivers have taken their stops already, so this might be some sort of damage repair for Ryan de Azevedo. There's a change for the lead here. We're side by side. Let's see what's happening. Emil is sneaking his way past. I think he's done it. There may have been some slight contact there, but it looked pretty fair from the time I flicked on the cameras. So Emil forcing his way through there. Nochar Presorius gets past Marius Skuman for P11. But Marley Mulman shouting for Emil. Go Emil. And this is a good time to get past Mikhail Matthews with just 14 minutes of this race left. Can he now hang on to it? as he's going to be approaching. Oh, there's a bit of a lockup. There's going to be a bit of backmarker traffic coming up here, so we'll have to see how the dice fall. Ludwig asking if this is Michael Matthews' first race. Oh, look at how sideways Emile de Villiers is getting there. A little squiggly on the grip. That may make Michael lick his chops if he's seeing that develop behind. Raymond Duggan side by side with Jude Stewart here. I think they're, yeah, Flying Gypsy's teammates just having a go. And yeah, heading back to the question from Ludwig, is this Michael Matthews' first race? I can promise you it's definitely not his first race ever. Not the way he's currently driving. But it is indeed his debut with SimRace South Africa. So, as we see a Flying Gypsy car off in the back there, I think. So yeah, Michael Matthews doing very well for himself on debut at SimRace South Africa. But with this level of talent and skill on display here, I would bet that it's definitely not his first race ever. Minutes left. What can Michael Matthews do to attempt to regain some track position and distance to attack Emile de Villiers? Corner Breed, meanwhile, running a somewhat quiet spectator in P3. Keep an eye on these deltas now. He's about 0.9, 0.8 seconds behind Michael Matthews. I think with the battle between Emile de Villiers and Michael Matthews developing, that has meant that Cornet, assuming he's been in fresh air, of course, has enjoyed creeping up on the two of these drivers, because they will be running non-optimal racing lines while they're defending against each other and attacking. And all of a sudden we may have Cornet here contending and attacking the back of Michael Matthews if he's not careful. Back marker just staying nicely out of the way there. And actually, no, this is Cornet Breed making his way past Michael Matthews. What's happened there? It's almost like he was caught napping. And maybe the back marker traffic confused the situation a little bit, but it was made to seem almost too easy for Cornet Breed, who slips on by Michael Matthews. And for the time being, if Michael Matthews actually just keeps his nose clean, at least he's enjoying a half-a-minute gap down to Jeremy de Villiers in P4, so he should still end up on the podium. Great results for his debut race, but there's still 10 minutes left in this race. What can he do? Maybe he can improve and regain P2, P1. Anything can happen. We've seen at SimRace South Africa in the dying moments. Have a quick look around the field. We've got Jude Stewart running in P9 at the moment. Mark Holland backed a little bit behind, just bringing up the top 10. And Iksan reporting that this is actually Michael Matthews' first professional race ever. Assume that means his first online league race, perhaps. But yeah, certainly a very strong showing here. Very mature race as well from Mikhail Matthews. Lots of respect shown with those side-by-side battles on track. You know, absolute kudos and good job to him so far. I wish him all the well. I really would like to see him get a podium on his debut. That would be pretty awesome. But almost in frame of each other. Here is your top three, ladies and gents, with just 8 minutes to go in this hour-long race. We have Emile de Villiers, Corne Britt in P2, and Mikhail Matthews behind him almost. 8 minutes to go. Anything can happen. There's some back marker traffic coming up. So don't go anywhere. I see Gascoigne in the pits. He'll be leaving very shortly. Coming up and almost impacting the leaders here. As we'll see Emile de Villiers. Corne Britt gets past. Corne Britt gets past Emile de Villiers while that was happening as Gas was exiting the pits. And Emile de Villiers is running wide. Look at that in the background. What a move. Corne gets around Emile de Villiers. Nice and clean. He entered T1. Perfectly managed, I'm sure, with the DRS and the boost. And there we go. Leader position change. Corne Britt into P1. Emile de Villiers now running behind. Where's Mikhail Matthews? There he comes through in the foreground. See, Corne Britt is coming up to a back marker as we speak. It looks like he's getting well out of the way there on the inside, tucking in behind Emile de Villiers, in between Mikhail Matthews, but a good distance away, so that's not impeding. Looking at the trio go through Elf and Renault. What's interesting to note is Corne Britt is currently on the C3 compound, whereas Emile de Villiers and Mikhail Matthews are on the C2 compound. I assume that's a softer compound. Have to figure out the specifics when we go for the driver interviews for the podium ceremony. Corne Britt has a little bit of a lock up there into turn 10, and certainly some wiggling and correcting on the way through. So I'm just, correcting or confirming for me that C3 is softer than C2. So the higher the number, the softer the compound. Which is interesting because, as we know, a softer compound will have some more grip, but it can also generate more heat and then wear more quickly, as Raymond Duggan gets past Lawrence Sterner behind in battle for P6, who's just earned that position. So I'm going to flick back to the top three here, and looks like someone's off there, one of the back markers, possibly being exceptionally generous to the leaders going through, or perhaps a mistake. As we say that, Emile de Villiers has a big lock up and he has to snatch and grab that to keep it in the straight line. And certainly fighting and trying to get the most out of this car here. Catch up to Corne Britt. There's some back marker traffic. Is that collision? Oh, there's certainly some traffic there, but then some corrections happening to turn 10. And that was almost a massive pile up coming through there, and somehow beyond all of it, Emile de Villiers has managed to stay onto the back of Corne Britt right now. Lawrence Sterner diving into the pits for one final time. With just 4 minutes to go. I wonder if that's running out of fuel, because I believe he had stopped already. Perhaps a little splash and dash required. Top 3 now making its way through that fast right-hander of Campser, flat out on the back straight, slamming on anchors for turn 10. I'm going to attempt to butcher that pronunciation. It certainly looks like a bit of a gap that's open now between Emile de Villiers and Mikhail Matthews. All still in the same frame of picture though, after almost an hour's racing, which is incredible. You see the little go-kart track in the back there near the main grandstand. Have a quick look at Mark Hollenbach. Yep, he was reporting there was a little bit of a spin in the background there. Didn't look like any collision. I think that may have been all by himself. And this is Lars Sterner exiting the pits now. Or actually only going into the pits. That was an interesting, lengthy seeming entry, but we'll flick back to the leaders so quick. Keep an eye on this battle. Emile de Villiers, having started in P1 after qualifying at the earlier start of this race. Currently in P2 to Cornet-Bred. Anything can happen. These guys have been swapping all night. Mikhail Matthews also enjoying P1 for a good stint of this race so far, running in P3 if you've just joined on his debut for Sim Race South Africa. Looks like a back marker car there. One of the other Flying Gypsies team members just making sure he stays out of this battle as well. Just less than a minute now to go. Just over a minute, apologies. Just got word on the chats that John Stewart, remember, had that early DNF. Unfortunately, his UPS cut out on lap 2. So suffering some technical difficulties there and resulting in the DNF. Sorry to hear, John. And better luck next time. We've got Gas Cohen who's just passed. Ooh, Mark Hollenbach just passed Gas Cohen. Apologies, that is for P8 battle. And what up just behind them is our P3 provisional podium finisher, Mikhail Matthews, who gets past that back marker well out of the way as we speak. Having a quick look at what's happening into T1, Emile de Villiers still about a half a second and some change behind Cornet-Bred. Yep, John just signing off in chat, shouting for Jude and the rest of the Flying Gypsies team. Certainly doing very well for themselves so far in the form of leader and captain Cornet-Bred, currently in P1. And for the most part staving off Emile de Villiers. He's on the final lap as we speak. There's a little bit of traffic. Actually, no traffic behind. I lie. He's in clean air. All he's got to do is nurse the car home. Mohammed Jokrat is off. What is happening here? He's reported as off track. Where is he? I can't see him. Cockpit camera, he's in the wall somewhere. Oh no, what has happened to Mohammed? Will he be able to get it going? We're going to head back to Cornet-Bred. who's rounding the final chicanes. Emile de Villiers has slipped back 4.7 seconds. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe there was an incident with that back marker. But I don't know if it was going to influence the final race, as we have Corne Briet taking round 1 P1 in the bag for Flying Gypsies. And he'll be ecstatic and delighted, I'm sure. We'll get to chat to him in a bit of a sec. Emile de Villiers, meanwhile, taking home a solid P2. Banking some good points, and on debut crosses the line in P3, Mikhail Matthews for NIFA Racing. What an excellent job the three of them all together have done. And don't go anywhere, we're going to pull in whoever we can find of the top 3 winners. Hopefully they'll all be able to join, have some mics running, and we can have a quick chat to them and see how things are going. Emile de Villiers in the waiting room. We'll await Corne and Mikhail to join, and then we'll drag them in. Meanwhile, thanks, Johan van der Merwes, thanks for the comments, I really appreciate it. Enjoy the podium ceremony sounds in the background while we give the guys a chance to get back off track and find their discords, reopen, find their mics, and hopefully get in here pretty quickly. Iksan, if you're listening, get your teammate in here. Alrighty, for the time being, I have... Wait, there we go. Hold on, chaps. I find Mikhail. Dragging Mikhail in chat now. So I have all 3 drivers with us. Firstly, a big warm welcome and congratulations to all 3 of you guys. I'm going to start with P3 and work my way upwards. Mikhail Matthews, debut at SimRace Africa. That's a podium finisher, my friend. P3. Big congrats. You're looking extremely strong out there for a large portion of the race, running in P1 for a good stint. But yeah, good job in bringing home that podium. How are you feeling? How are the nerves?
Thanks. Yeah, I was happy with I'm happy with third, firstly, starting third.
Yeah.
And I was happy with my pace early on the C3 tire. I just expected my consistency to fail me, and not happy that I made a few mistakes. The tire wear was a problem as well.
Yeah, with the C3 compound being a little softer than C2, which I think Corne was using for the majority of the race, certainly towards the end there. We'll have a chat with Corne in a bit. Emile, just quickly crossing over to you. Congrats on your qualifying P1. I think you were the only driver to dip into the 116s at the end there. Cracking pace, unbelievable. And then, yeah, I think a little unlucky to have a mistake or 2 in the race, but ultimately finishing P2. Big congrats to you. How are you feeling?
It's feeling tired. The race, it went well, but not as what I would have wanted. But if I didn't make those simple small mistakes, then would have turned out better. But overall, I'm happy with my result.
Awesome. Yeah, good job. And then Corne Briet, congrats, buddy. P1 for Flying Gypsies, taking home all the honors. And yeah, talk to us. How was your race? How was the tire commands? I see you on C2, the rest of the guys on C3. How did that work out?
So we did a bit of practice, and we noticed that the tire wear was quite a problem. So I decided to start with a C2 and then extend this for as long as I could. And I saw most of the other guys started on C3, and there was other guys who were on C2. But it turned out the strategy was a good call. I was dipping, or I was losing some pace towards the end of my stint, and I actually boxed 2 laps earlier than I wanted to. But yeah, then I was strapped on the C3s, and I knew these guys were already won on the C2s, so I had a good chance. But yeah, I also had 2 big mistakes early on, costing me a few positions and having to fight back. But yeah, fighting back and getting the win, don't think I could have asked for more. It was quite a fun race.
Excellent.
And also to the back markers, they were quite lenient this time around.
Yeah. Generally, what I found on stream, at least the cameras, they all look to be generally well behaved. So yeah, a big thank you out to those as well, for those who may rewatch the race in general. But yeah, I think just another congrats to all three of you. If you look back on the stream and the race today, you guys obviously experienced it firsthand. All three of you, neck and neck in the same frame on stream after 60 minutes of racing. I mean, that's incredible. It's great to see the, close competitiveness on track this season, and I do hope that it continues for the remainder of the rounds. Yeah, any last final remarks, guys? Otherwise, we're going to be cutting to some final exit outro videos.
All good for me. Thanks for everyone.
All right, awesome. I'm going to be wrapping up there. Thanks very much to you three, and yeah, thanks to everyone else on stream as well. Thank you very much for joining us, guys, and I hope to see you in the return. We have racing every single Monday here at SimRace Africa. We're going to be heading into our Porsche Sim Cup race. I'll run the little trailer for that again on the ACC footage, that is. So catch all that action next week. I believe it's going to be Sass van der Westhuizen and a new commentator joining us in the booth, load shedding willing, Tyler Humphreys. Great to have you on board. And they'll be covering our first race at Silverstone in the Porsche 992 Cup car. And then we've got GT3 again back with us the following week. And then before we know it, we'll be having our round 2 of simGP. We'll be racing at the Andara circuit next time around. So keep a lookout for that. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks very much for joining, and we'll see you soon. Ciao, ciao.